my channel. I know it's been a really long time, but you guys, I got a new lighting setup, so it took me a long time to figure out what lighting I liked, and I kept recording videos and it wasn't coming out right, but I'm back. I think I have it figured out now. So today I did this cranberry expensive pink look. It has some fall inspired colors, but it's not necessarily like dark and super smoky. It's still kind of light, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So if you like this look, stay tuned. First, I'm gonna start off with my brows done and my lids primed. I will list all products below in order that they're shown if you want to know exactly what I use. Now I'm gonna go in with my Saddled eyeshadow by MAC. It's just a brown color. It's a warm brown that's about one shade darker than my skin tone, and I'm gonna use this as a transition color in the crease. Now I'm gonna go in with Sable from my Lorac Pro palette with a smaller blending brush, and I'm gonna concentrate that more on the bottom part of my crease. I'm trying to create gradation, and I want this look to look very, very blended, so I'm just gonna buff that out until I can't see any more harsh lines. Now I'm gonna use Espresso from my Lorac Pro palette again, but this time I'm using more of a pointed blending brush, and I'm gonna concentrate that directly into the crease area. This is a darker brown than the ones we've used before, so this is just gonna add to the gradient effect that I'm trying to create. I'm just adding different colors, different shades of the same color to create depth and dimension, because as you can see, I don't have much of a crease. I have kind of like a mono lid, to be honest, and I'm just gonna blend that out with a fluffy brush, because the brush that I was using wasn't blending it out good enough. Now I'm gonna go in with Cranberry by MAC, and I'm gonna pat that all over the lid with a shader brush, and I'm not gonna take it up too high, but just pack that color on. You may have to do it in layers. Now I'm going to blend out the edges of that color so it's not like a harsh line. I'm not going for a cut crease look here. I want it to be very, very blended. Now I'm going to add in Expensive Pink with a really small shader brush into my tear duct area. And I'm going to start to blend that out. And just keep blending your eyes until everything looks smooth and consistent. I'm going to add a little bit more of that dark brown mixed in with the black into my crease area. I really want to define my crease more because, like I told you guys, I don't really have much of a crease. And this is my 222 brush, I believe. This is my favorite crease brush for those of us who have really large eyelids. So I'm not trying to take the color up too high. It's all really just going to depend on your eye shape. I have a lot of eye space, like I stated earlier, and if you don't, you wouldn't necessarily use this brush. You may want to use something smaller. I'm going to go ahead and line my eyes. You know, a classic wing. How long you do the wing, how thick you do the wing. It's really all up to you. I didn't want to do it too thick. And then after you do that, go ahead and apply your lash of choice. I like to use a wispier lash for this type of look. Now moving on to the face, I'm going to prime with my Benefit Professional Primer. And on top of that, I'm going to apply my Maybelline Fit Me Foundation, Dewy and Smooth. Or, no wait, this is the Matte and Poreless in Coconut. And I'm just going to use my Beauty Blender to blend that out. Now I'm going to go into the dark areas of my face with my Laura Mercier color corrector. It's just an orange cream product, and I'm just putting it basically wherever I have any darkness that needs, like, you know, extra work. I tend to have to use more concealing and correcting when I'm using a cheaper foundation, but I mean, hey, for $8 you can't really ask for too much. I'm just going to blend that in with this Sephora Airbrush Concealer Brush. It is amazing, you guys. I love this brush for blending out cream products. Now, as you guys know, I always use my LA Girl Pro Conceal. This is in Toffee, I believe. And you guys can pay attention to the highlighting pattern that I'm using. It's a little bit different than what I've done before. Basically, of course, I'm going to do under the eyes and my forehead, but I brought it around underneath my nose to make my lips appear more pronounced. It's going to make the area look a little bit more puckered. And now I'm going to go in and contour my face with a darker shade of that same concealer. And then I'm just going to blend everything out with my beauty blender, as always. I like to blend out my nose highlight before I do the nose contour, because I find that if you try to do everything at the same time, sometimes it can get kind of confusing and your nose area can be really muddy looking and it's not very precise. So that's just a little tip I thought I'd like to share with y'all. Now I'm going to use a lighter color concealer to enhance my highlight even more. This is Warm Honey, I believe, by LA Girl. And I'm just going to blend that out. I'm not going to apply too much of that product because we've already put concealer on. I'm just using it to make it a little bit more bright. And I don't know if you guys saw, but I like to use a brush to blend out my nose contour just by dragging it down. This step isn't necessarily something you have to do on a daily basis, but with the lights and the camera, it kind of washes your face out. So if you're going to be taking photos, it's a nice trick. It adds a little bit more opacity to your look. And now I'm just going to set my highlighted areas with my Ben Nye Banana Powder. And also I'm starting to apply this around my nostrils. If you guys can see, it kind of creates like this smaller, more pointed nose type of look. And I like to kind of flick off the area right underneath my eye, just because it can get kind of cakey under there if you try to bake it right underneath your eye sometimes. And now I'm just applying a little bit of black eyeliner by Rimmel, and I'm going in with MAC's Beauty Marked eyeshadow, and I'm just going to smoke out my lower lash line with a really small shader brush. And you guys forgive the focus in this shot. I tried to fix it. So I'm just going to use Beauty Marked to smoke that liner out. If you do this technique with any type of eyeshadow look, you pretty much get a smoky eye or semi-smoky eye. For those of you who aren't really sure of, you know, how to do it. Now I'm just going to flick the rest of the powder off of my face. You don't necessarily want to completely sweep it off. I'm kind of like dabbing it in too. Now I'm just going to warm my face up with a little bit of bronzer. This is my CoverGirl Queen Collection bronzer in Ebony Bronze that I always use. And I like to concentrate that around my forehead, underneath my cheeks, my jawline. I'm going to be using MAC's Blush and Blunt to intensify my contour even more underneath my cheekbones. It's all about layering, you guys. And don't forget to contour your nose a little bit. I prefer to use bronzer on this step because it's not too dark. Now I'm just going to highlight my face with my Becca Opal highlighter. And I'm going to use Expensive Pink again on my cheeks. This tutorial is kind of focused on this one eyeshadow because I really, really love it. And I'm also going to apply it on these two areas of my nose. I do not like to drag the highlighter all the way down because it looks like extremely obvious. So that just kind of works for me. And now I'm going to be going in with the Sweetest Cocoa by MAC. This is a very bronzy blush to begin with, so it kind of ties the whole look together. Go ahead and use your Fix Plus. And now we're going to move on to the lips. Take a medium brown color around your lips, and I kind of overdrew mine just a little bit because my top lip is a lot smaller than my bottom lip, so I have to overdraw it just a little bit to make things look equal. Now I'm going to use a lip liner that's the same color as my actual lip, and I'm just going to fill that in and blend it out. You can leave it like this if you like more of a matte look, but I'm going to add a little bit of gloss. This lip gloss was discontinued by NARS. It's just a basic sheer pink gloss, and I'm going to add more expensive pink to the center of my lips to highlight them. This step is really cool if you want to make your lips look bigger, easier. And I'm going to add a little bit of my Opal highlighter by Becca on top as well. Just blend that out, apply your mascara, and that's the finished look, you guys. So thank you for watching this video. As always, add me on Snapchat. I'm very active on there. Thank you guys. Bye bye.